A child crouches at the edge of a clearing somewhere in what is now southern Africa, maybe 40,000 years ago, and closes a small fist around a cluster of bright red berries. Before the berries reach the child's mouth, an older hand knocks them to the ground. No explanation, no lecture, just a sharp sound, a hard look, and a lesson delivered faster than language. That child will grow up knowing, without ever being told why, that those particular berries are not food. Multiply that single moment across 2,000 generations, and you have one of the greatest survival puzzles our species ever solved. Here's the problem nobody paints on the cave walls. The natural world is not a pantry stocked for your benefit. It is a chemistry lab, and a great deal of what grows in it is quietly, patiently trying to kill whatever tries to eat it. Plants can't run, so they fight with poison. Alkaloids, cyanide, oxalates, compounds evolved over millions of years specifically to make an animal sick or dead. And ancient humans with no labels, no ingredient lists, no way to test a single leaf, had to figure out which of the thousands of species around them would feed a family and which would end one. The easy answer, the one you have probably heard, is trial and error. Somebody eats the wrong mushroom. Somebody dies. Everybody else takes notes. Simple, brutal, effective. Except that answer is almost completely wrong. Trial and error with deadly poisons is a spectacularly bad survival strategy because the price of one error is a corpse, and a species that learned exclusively by dying would have run out of teachers long before it ran out of poisons. The real story is stranger, older, and written partly into your own body. Start with your tongue. You have roughly 25 different receptors dedicated to detecting one single sensation: bitterness. 25. You have exactly one type for sweetness. Think about what that imbalance is telling you. Your ancestors were not built to chase pleasure. They were built to detect threat because, in the wild, bitter is the taste of alarm. Most plant toxins are bitter, and that flinch you feel when something is too bitter to swallow is not fussiness. It is a 50-million-year-old warning system, inherited from primates who spat out danger before they could name it. Taste alone is a blunt instrument, so evolution gave you a second layer: nausea. Your body can link a specific flavor to the misery that followed it hours later, and then refuse that flavor for the rest of your life after a single bad experience. Psychologists call it taste aversion, and it is one of the fastest, most durable forms of learning any animal possesses. One meal, one night of sickness. A lesson your body will never let you forget. For an ancient human, that mechanism was a survival manual you didn't have to read, written in the language of disgust. Yet the most remarkable part isn't avoidance. It's transformation. Because ancient humans didn't just learn to dodge poison, they learned to disarm it. Take the acorn, packed with bitter tannins that make it inedible raw. Peoples across the northern hemisphere learned to crush, soak, and leach those tannins away with running water, turning poison into flour. Or cassava, a root laced with enough cyanide to kill, which Amazonian communities render safe through a grating, pressing, and fermenting process so elaborate it takes days. Nobody deduced the chemistry. They inherited the steps, and the steps kept them alive. And this is where the real answer finally comes into focus. Ancient humans didn't survive on individual cleverness. They survived on accumulated memory. Every one of those processing methods represents thousands of years of observation, compressed into ritual, passed down as recipe, enforced as tradition. The anthropologist Joseph Henrich calls this the secret of our success. Not raw intelligence, but culture. A shared library of hard-won knowledge that no single person could ever rediscover alone. You do not need to understand why the berries are dangerous. You only need to remember that they are. Here's the reversal. That knocked-away handful of berries, the slap without explanation, the recipe nobody could justify. All of it was information, moving forward through time faster than any individual could ever learn it. The child who obeyed lived. The tribe that remembered ate. And every rule that looked like superstition, do not touch that plant, never eat that fish in this season, was often a death carefully recorded and encoded into custom so that no one would have to die to learn it again. Your survival was never really about you. It was about everyone who came before. Which means the next time you eat something without a second thought, remember that you are running on borrowed knowledge, tested in bodies that are long gone. That is the quiet inheritance every meal carries. Because the strangest truth about being human is that almost nothing you know, you learned by yourself. If this reframed the way you see the food on your plate, subscribe to The First People, and tell me in the comments what you want explained next.